Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna play some Kaizo Ironmon. So I know this may come as a surprise, but I have, released some videos about this before. I've played this before. Um, the thing is about this is that Kaizo Ironmon, for those who don't know, uh, the runs for that challenge can be extremely long, and it can range into the 14 hours for a completed run and stuff. So it was hard to, find a good way to record and show it to the viewers. So I've been mostly playing this offline until now, and I wanted to find a way to show what I've been doing, but more of a short form version, so that you don't have to sit through 14 hours of gameplay where I can barely talk. So, for those who don't know what Ironmon is, Ironmon's a Pokemon challenge created by I Eat Your Pie, and there are many tiers to Ironmon. There's the base tier, there's the ultimate tier, there's the Kaizo tier, and then there's survival and super Kaizo. But we're not gonna go into those because those are even longer, and we really don't have enough time to put into that. So I've already completed the Kaizo Ironmon challenge for Gen 1 and Gen 2. And now we're moving on to Gen 3, which is probably going to be my final generation of this challenge. And I beat Kaizo Ironmon Gen 1 with a Lapras. I beat Kaizo Ironmon Gen 2 with a Charizard. And now we're trying to beat Gen 3. Gen 3 is probably the hardest out of the three, just because there's a lot more factors going into your run with the added abilities, with the added Pokemon, and all that stuff. So here we have our first Pokemon, Greed the Shuckle. So what you see here, you have a rating. The rating is just simple calculation that takes in all the factors of the Pokemon, the abilities, the moves, and the stat spread to have a clearer understanding of what potential this Pokemon has to actually win the challenge. So that was a 4-star Shuckle. He has a pretty good chance. And this is where we get into the part of the video that I wanted to do. So in these short videos that we're gonna do, we're not just gonna follow one run of the challenge, we're gonna follow 5 of them. In this one, we got a Kingdra, but it was pretty bad. It was like a 2-star Kingdra. So we're not gonna keep it, obviously, because anything like 2-star or you pretty much have no chance to beat the challenge. So you have to swap out to a different Pokemon in the wild and see if you can find something that can actually make it to the end. It's too bad because Kingdra is actually a 6-star Pokemon with the BST and the spread. Not the spread, but the typing. The BST and the typing are extremely good on Kingdra, but the stats were just unusable and the moves were bad as well, so you can't go into a run and count on learning good moves. Like, you have to have at least a few good moves to start with. But this one, it was just like, oof. Like, the best attack was Horn Attack, and the rest was pretty bad. So, what's gonna happen when we follow each of the 5 runs? So, I'm gonna present the 5 runs that made it out of the lab, or the prison if you like, in this video. So we're gonna have 5 different mons, and we're gonna follow the journey of each one, and it'll be like kind of a little game trying to find which one is gonna be the one that's gonna make it the farthest out of the 5. That way the content's gonna remain short, and you're gonna be able to see like the progress of certain mods, like when they start, what they look like, and when they get better over time. So here we're continuing a little bit out of the lab because, like I said, we have to find another Pokemon to replace this Kingdra. And we had a pretty bad matchup there. Like, this fight's gonna take a while because everything is not very effective on this Magcargo. Luckily we have a lot of defense though, so we can just tank our way through. So the reason why we continue a little bit further with this first trainer is that we didn't find anything good in the first 3 areas. Like, there's 3 areas that you can look for new Pokemon before the first trainer. And if you don't find anything good in there, if you beat the first trainer, it opens up 2 other areas. And the other areas have higher level mons as well, so you can have a level 8 in the first area, and then you can find a level 10 in the woods. But to get there, you have to beat the first trainer. The first trainer is in the way, and you have to get him out of there. So this is the kind of thing that can usually happen in Ironmon. You're gonna have, if you have bad moves, bad stats, like this kind of fight can happen, which is why it's pretty bad. You don't want to spend like so much time on one fight and using your items, using all your moves. You need to have good offensive stats to make it far, which is why the calculation for the stars on the stats is based on the offensive stats. If you have good offensive stats, you're gonna have good rating on the stats. Here we're picking up the items. I'm gonna show the way I'm gonna, shorten the content here is that I'm gonna cut out all the movement and the searching and stuff like that. We found a level 10 Cacturn with the decent moves in the woods, so we caught that one. And this is the one that we're gonna stay with. You're gonna see why in a few moments. So it took a while to search for this Cacturn. I mean, when you look for a good Pokemon, you have to scout, you have to see what's out there, you have to check the moves, check how they resist and stuff like that. You want to try to guess what kind of stats they have. So now we have the Cacturn with the white smoke, which is really good ability. And the spread was like 5 stars, right? 5-star stat spread. And the moves were really good. We got 3 good moves and 1 terrible move, but since we have 3 good ones, it works out. So the Cacturn, pretty good overall. He's very he's very even spread in terms of rating. Like it's a 4-star mon. He has 4-star ability. He has 5-star stats and 4-star moves. The way the moves are calculated is that each individual move has its own star rating, and the rating I show on the screen is like an average of the 4 moves. But if you look at each individual move we had there, we had the Rock Slide, that's 5-star move. We had the Bone Meringue, it's another 5-star move. We had Cosmic Power, which is 5 stars as well. And then Smog is like 1 star, so that's pretty bad. So it brought the rating down a little bit. This Umbreon is decent. It has a very good ability. Serene Grace, that's a 6-star ability, or if you want more of an S tier, if you want to put it in terms of tiers. Like really good. And as you can see, we can have our effects happen twice as often, and since we have Secret Power and Fire Punch, we can get paralyzes and burns and stuff, which is really good. Umbreon, 5-star mon overall, and in terms of type and DST. So this one's going to be one that we're going to stay with. Usually you can tell which one I'm going to keep when I give it a name. If I give it the name F, that pretty much means it's bad. And if I give it a proper name like this one, it's going to be the one that stays. Unless by accident I find something way better in the wild, which rarely happens, because usually when I get a good mon to start with, as you can see, like 4.5, very good potential on this Umbreon. Usually when you get a good starting mon, you wanna keep it. You don't want to waste too much time looking for something when there's a very low chance that you actually find something better than what you already have. So, as I was saying earlier, the way we're gonna shorten the content here, we're gonna eliminate all the movement, all the searching, and we're just gonna keep the fights, the items, everything that's important to know. And that'll cut the time a lot. Instead of like being 14 hours, it'll probably be like 2 to 3 hours for a whole run. If we ever get there, of course. There's not a guarantee that we're gonna clear the challenge with any of these. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen with these either. I just got these out of the lab, out of the prison, and we're gonna see what happens with each of them individually. Like, we're gonna follow the journey of each of them as they grow and probably die, of course. We'll see. We'll first have to see which one of these 5 can reach the first gym, if any of them can reach the first gym at all. First gym is pretty rough. Second gym is even worse, I would say, because there's a special rule in the Kaizo rule set that makes it that you can't skip the second gym. Because usually in Pokemon Emerald, you can skip the second gym and, you know, continue on to the third area where you can farm a lot more XP and then eventually come back to the second gym way stronger and just stomp on them. But there's a special rule in the Kaizo rule set for Emerald that prevents you from skipping the second gym. So you have to fight the second gym on even footing. Kabutops is by himself a very underwhelming Pokemon for Kaizo Ironmon because he has a ×4 weakness, or what I like to call a super weakness with the grass. So he needs like a very specific spread of his stats to actually be good. And we did end up getting those stats with this Mon, so we're gonna continue with Edward here. You can see I'm using Synthesis here. Usually you're not allowed to use healing moves, but it is allowed on the first rival fight because you can't really switch moves. So it is allowed to use them in the rival fight only, and then after that it is completely banned. You're not allowed to use them at all, and you have to replace it as soon as possible. If you can't replace any of it, you're allowed to use it in the rival fight, but apart from that, there's nowhere that you can use healing moves. So the main problem with this Kabutops is that he has good stats, he has good ability, but he only has normal moves, so his moves are very low rating. So he's a 3-star Mon. He has a lot less chance to make it to the end. But we're gonna cross our fingers. You never know which Mon is gonna make it far. Sometimes you can be surprised with a Mon that you wouldn't expect to go far, but we're gonna see what happens with this one. Here we got Alakazam. So that's the last of the 5 that we're going to see in the later videos. He has sort of good stats. The low speed is it's very risky to run because basically you're half the time you're going to be starting second and you're going to tank some hits, and you can get hit with some pretty bullshit stuff in Kaizo Ironmon, such as Perish Song and stuff like that. So you want to avoid low speed as much as possible, but since we had very good stats on the rest, we're going to keep this Alakazam. So hopefully you guys like this sort of short form content that I'm going to be able to release a little more often. I wanted to have something that I can release like at least maybe like once a week or stuff like that, so that you guys get content a little more regularly. I know it's harder to do regular content with claw speedruns and stuff. So here we go. That's the last Pokemon of this video, Neo the Alakazam. So he's gonna be a 4.5 star Mon. The only bad thing about him is his stats. The rest are really good. So which one do you think is gonna make it the furthest? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.